Happened between the Cavs and the Pistons. Cade Cunningham following a disappointing game.
Cade, could you could you figure out what happened early on, what hit you guys, and how hard was that to fathom right out of the box?
I mean, both teams came out to win the game. Just went their way. I don't really have an answer outside of that.
Cade, obviously the team accomplished a lot this season. Not how you wanted it to end tonight, but where's your mind at now? And I guess how do you reconcile those two things, understanding that this team made a lot of progress, but obviously didn't end the season on the note you guys wanted to end it on?
Yeah. That game sucked. Being back home, definitely wanted to get this win in front of the fans. Reminded me of last year, losing on the home court. It's not a great feeling. So I hadn't been thinking about the off season. So, my mind's been racing now, trying to figure out, what I got to do, what it's going to look like. That's really it.
Just immediately, how do you kind of feel you can continue to grow from this season, and what has kind of inspired that growth?
Working on my body, becoming a better athlete, things like that. All those things will help me a lot. Continuing to sharpen my game. My game feels sharp right now. But building off where I'm at right now and continuing to add on and become the best player I can be. All those things are on the forefront of my mind, and I have time to work on those things. So I'm just focused on how I can get better now.
Can you talk about what this game was like, especially early on when so much was on the line, and all of a sudden you look up, you're down 10, down 15, down 20. Osser said that he felt like they came out and kind of hit you first, and he said you guys always want to be in a position to hit first and make them react and not have to react to the other thing. Was there some of that going on? Did it feel almost stunning to sort of be in that situation during this game?
Stunning. Felt like early on, some of the plays just, were bad bounces or miscommunications, giving them points and stuff. Felt like it was something that we'll be able to fix, and we just never got it together. So credit to them. They did, everything they needed to do to win the game tonight, and we fell short of that.
Okay, obviously it's fresh, and JB was saying he refused to say this was a disappointment season just based on what you guys were able to do. You talked about it, like what you want to grow at, but what's something about this season or these playoffs that you are proud of, you can't hang your hat on just from this experience as well?
He's right. We had a great year. We grew a lot, grew from last year. That was the whole goal of this season, was to grow and become a better team than last year, and we did that. Obviously, disappointing series right here. Fell short of doing enough of the right things to win the series. But we were number one seed for a reason. We won a lot of games this year. We played great basketball all year long. Really established the identity and stuff that we didn't have for a long time. So all those things are positives and things that we'll take into the off season and come back next year and grow from.
Cade, kind of going off of that, for years that JB Bickerstaff and Trajan Langdon have been here, the standard is raised quite significantly here for this Pistons team. Just as you do kind of reflect and head into the offseason, I know obviously a lot of negative feelings about how the season ended, but, how grateful are you not only just for, JB, Trajan, what they've brought here, but also just everyone in that locker room that you fought alongside this season?
Yeah, very grateful. I'm grateful for the whole season. Grateful that everybody, came out of the season healthy. Nothing crazy. But like you said, starting with the guys in the locker room, we had a lot of fun this year, competing with each other. Practice, flights, games, obviously, had a lot of fun. We bonded more than any other team that I've had in the NBA. And, a lot of that is a credit to coach and, just the environment that he instilled, Trajan, the environment that they instilled in the building. Things that are business, but also we have fun together and we enjoy our time with each other. So, I I can't thank everybody enough for, just creating that environment, allowing us to grow in the way we did, and all the support that, I've had and the whole team has had this season.
Cade, knowing that you guys didn't as a collective play your very best game to finish the season, how much does that fuel you all going forward into not only next season but the off season and what you could probably do, what you want to do from here?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's hard not to. It was a great opportunity this season, to move forward and to continue to, experience new things that we hadn't been exposed to. Fell short. We were right there, but we fell short. So, I think that chip and that sting is going to sit for a while, and got to work through it and continue to grow. Thank y'all.
Sports Center. Look, the drive from Cleveland to Detroit is like 2.5 hours. And if you made the drive, if you're a Cavs fan, you had every reason to stick around and watch the 125-94 win. Pistons fans largely evacuated the building.
Yeah, they got up out of there. I mean,
like,
it also...
We're good.
Right. It also helps that 25 busloads were brought in by Dan Gilbert of Cavs fans, and they had that building rocking for Donovan Mitchell and them, who were really good offensively, despite their struggles on the road leading into this one from a shooting standpoint. Everyone contributed. Cavs led by as many as 20 in the first half. 64-47 was your score at the break. Those 64 points were the most they've scored in a road half this postseason. When you look at the shot chart, you see they were getting any and everything that they wanted. Better than 50% from the field, better than 40% from three. The ball was moving around. The offense looked easy. It was aesthetic. You heard from Chiney Ogwumike earlier just talking about just the brand of basketball they were playing. Here a prime example, Jared Allen getting to a tough move, gets the lay, puts the Cavs up 23, and then Allen one more time off the dime, just throwing it down. James Harden may not have done much from a point standpoint, but he got it done offensively. And then here Donovan Mitchell getting it done himself, part of his 26-point night. And then Mitchell, nasty step back three. Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell assisted or scored on 26 of the Cavs' 35 points in the third quarter. Cavs win. Tobias Harris after the tough performance.
Feeling at this moment?
Disappointed, obviously. Tough way to go out. Overall, for us as a group, I just think, just disappointed, really.
Do you feel like you guys missed the mark on just the way you guys have been playing defense this postseason, this season, and from the start of this game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we couldn't find our defense tonight. Early on in the game, they were spraying out, getting threes. They were winning the 50-50 battle, rebound battle, possession game. And that's a big catalyst to our offense, getting out in transition and running. Early in the game, we didn't have enough momentum plays to really establish ourselves. Outside of it, I think being tied up at 13 at one point. But for us overall, I mean, it was just from then on, it was just tough in the half court for our offense, and we didn't find our defense all night.
Whenever they took that.
Chiney is back. So now the Eastern Conference Finals, that is now set. You've got the Cavs and you've got the Knicks, game one at the Garden. Let's just start there with the matchup. How do these two teams match up against each other?
Briscoe, I need you to take the energy up because this is lit. We've got two teams that are playing really great basketball in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks and the Cavs. And guess what, sis? The matchups are amazing. I think that the first 40 minutes are going to be dictated by the paint. I love this paint matchup between Karl Anthony Towns taking on Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Cat, we've seen in the postseason, he's already had multiple triple doubles. They sort of revitalized how you view Karl-Anthony Towns, because before we thought, oh, he's a three-point shooter, I'm the best proclaimed, shooting big man, but then he's been able to have passing games similar to the Cleveland Cavalier front court. Those two have equally been dynamic as a tandem. Mobley off the dribble, Allen with force and authority, and I love how they were talking about, I think it was Coach Kenny Atkinson, saying, hey, he's our X factor, even though we thought it was Mobley. So if you think about the paint, the first 40 minutes, I think will be dictated there. If Cat's passing can really dictate, or will it be the other side? But lastly, I'll say this. The final 8 minutes, the closing time, the winning time, my goodness, we might have a shootout between Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, a former Clutch Player of the Year. We all know he can close a game. He can do bad by himself as well. But more importantly, we've seen the best also of Donovan Mitchell. This man had a 39, I believe, points second half. So anytime he goes on a heat check, it can be lethal. So whether it's the paint or the perimeter, this one to me will probably go the distance, and we'll see 7 games.
Okay.
Because Donovan Mitchell, he's been special, Nicole. He's been special. And they've been waiting for a moment where he's able to capitalize. Nicole, I feel like this is the best we've ever seen him, the best version of him as a leader.
It's also the best we've seen of the Knicks, but there's a massive difference because the Cavs have been tested. And a little bit like we heard that question posed to the Pistons, like, did you guys just run out of gas? At this point, the Cavs have been far more tested than the Knicks have been. How is that going to come into play?
Oh, I would rather be the team that's fresh. I think New York Knicks.
Yes.
Look, I don't like making picks or selections, right? I call them manifestations. And it's been 50-something years since they've won a championship. I think this is New York's year. And I don't want to freak anybody out in New York, but no one is playing better basketball with all of their key pieces than the New York Knicks. And sometimes we forget because we haven't seen them on the floor in a moment, but they have looked sensational. The changes, the defense, the engagement, and also the depth that they have is something so different. And so when you talk about being tested, tested comes with playing extended amount of minutes, an extended amount of games, and a quicker turnaround, because game 1 is going to be on Tuesday, I believe, in 48 hours, where the Knicks are sitting at home with their notepad, plotting and scheming. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby being available. The depth that they have, to me, is going to help them very much to hopefully potentially get to the NBA Finals.
It is Tuesday, by the way. Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Just clarifying that for you. I have all the information.
Thank you.
Also, it's on the screen.